Volume 3, Number 9. Shortly after Michael's announcement of his retirement, a reporter from a local newspaper wanted to do an interview about Michael's life story, about his company and his overall achievements. Since he's really been a fixture of the company and the organization in the community, they really wanted to do a feature story about his life work. Michael thought long and hard about it. He said, maybe we can do a Zoom call first, and maybe we could just share some thoughts before we do the actual interview to the reporter. Kelly Parker is a local reporter for a local newspaper. So she said in this conversation, she agreed to do that Zoom call. So Michael had prepared a short statement about his life's work. For over 30 years, Michael had worked in the automobile industry, and he wanted to share about his upbringing. He really wanted to share where he decided to start, so he took some note cards and wrote down briefly what he was going to discuss. How he started Smithton Automotive in Motors. So it really started out when he started out as a kid at 16. So he was going to start out there. That was his starting place. As Kelly Parker calls him on the Zoom, they started discussing some parts of the interview that they wanted to highlight. Michael really encouraged that he wanted to talk about his childhood, about his mom and dad's work ethic, and why he decided that it was important. He wanted to lay the groundwork there. Why it was so important that he was a self-made man. Why it was important to be an individual in business, where he got his ethics and values and his core beliefs as he had grown up in a Christian environment and believed wholeheartedly that his values is what drove him to do what he did. He started out washing and cleaning out cars as he was in the 80s, detailing cars for a company that was nearby. And then he branched out working for other random companies and did other odd jobs. By the time he saved up enough money, his parents helped him invest into Smithton Motors, where he worked on vehicles and helped. And then he ended up meeting his partner from college. His partner and him invested into Smithton Motors and autos, and then they slowly grew as a company. Their first company was on in Hollister, and then, of course, they branched out to Highway 76. By the time they grew into a larger company, they added not just 25 employees, but grew to 50 employees. That was the biggest they ever became until then Stephen Clark added another additional 25 employees to the company. It was only then when Stephen Clark had died in a car accident that the company had slowed down to 75 employees. Along came Frank Rutherford, who grew the company to 100 employees. And then they grew the garage and also the other location, the second location, which was at the Hollister main location. Kelly Parker was interested in the core values. So your core values was basically what drove you? Yeah, basically. I raised my kids in a Christian environment, so they go to a Christian school. I pay pretty much for them to go to a Christian grade school and middle school. I don't send them to public school. I don't want them to be educated in a woke agenda. I want them to understand the values that I grew up with. It sounds kind of like the way things are going. The world is going more woke. I want them to have values that I had, to work hard for what you have. I started out as a self starter. I want my kids to work hard for what they have. I want them to not have things handed to them. I know that they do have a lot more than I have, just like I have not had a lot of things handed to me, but my parents helped me along the way. So I just believe in working hard for what you have, even if you do get a little help along the way. But I never had government help. I never had to been on food stamps. My wife, on the other hand, when she came to me, she had nothing. And by the time we got married, it started to really materialize as our marriage grew. So did she as a person. And she wrote 3 books and went back to college, and she got to the point where she became a therapist. So it just shows you that you have to be a self-motivated person. You don't have to depend on the government for help, and you can be a self-starter, and you can make it in this world if you have the right people behind you. And it says in the Bible, good company or bad company corrupts good morals. And if you surround yourself around good people, good things happen. And Kelly Parker was very intrigued by this conversation that Michael was having. You wanted to know my story. That's my story. Kelly Parker said, I could write a good story about this. So, what makes you a part of this community that makes you such an asset? Well, I hope by what I told you makes me an asset, that you don't have to depend on the government to get help. You can help yourself. You can get up every day. You can scrub cars. You can clean. You can do things, and you can make it work for yourself. Detailing cars is what I started out doing. As for the spring fling and everything that we did, we started out the first time we made $3,000 and gave all the contributions to Family Resource Center. And then before you know it, it grew. And then the last time we counted $125,890 in gross sales. And we gave all the contributions to the Family Resource Center. And that helped needy families in need. We didn't depend on the government for that either. Meaning, you don't have to depend on the government. You can reach out to one another for help. And that's what we did. We fundraised and we helped each other. It just shows you that there's kindness and generosity all around us if we just work together. Kelly Parker loved it. That's fascinating. I love it. Great interview. I'm going to compile this and I'll send you the rough draft before I send it out to the paper. Thank you for your time, said Kelly Parker. I'll be sure to talk to you soon, said Michael Smithton. You know, before we go, Kelly Parker said, you should go on a speaking tour and motivate others. I would really encourage you to do that. You really inspired me. Okay, well, maybe I'll consider it, said Michael Smithton. So what are your future plans before you go? Well, I'm going to be working as a managing director at Smithton Motors. We don't know if it's going to stay Smithton Motors. I can only guess. I'm going to talk to Frank here earlier after this conversation and see what happens from here. I don't know if it's going to be Smithton Motors or it's going to be Smithton Automotors. I don't know what the future is, but I know this. I will be an acting participant in the company. I'm taking a salary. I will be in a salary position, and I'm going to be going to work here shortly. So I'll be working there, but I won't be a CEO. I stepped down for a reason. So I will be working, but I'm not at the same capacity that I used to. Thank you, said Kelly Parker. It's been a great interview. I appreciate your time. I'm going to sign off from here. Okay, thank you again. As they signed off on the Zoom call, Michael realized that it was quite evident that his impression made such an impact on her. I need to talk to Frank. So Michael calls Frank. Hey, Frank, how are you doing? I'm doing great. How are things coming along with your new plans for the company? Well, I got the paperwork here. All you have to do is sign and date it. Okay, I'll be up. So Mike goes up to Smithton Motors and Autos and signs the documents that need to be notarized. They go down to the courthouse and notarize all the documentation for Smithton Motors to be turned over to now Frank Rutherford. That's it. It's all done. The court paperwork's all finished. So what are you going to do? I think if we keep it Smithton Motors and Auto, that would be great, but I want to shorten it. How do you want to shorten? Smithton Automotive. If that's it? Yeah, I just want to shorten it to Smithton Automotive because we might turn it into a car lot. Oh, really? Yeah, I think we might just turn it into a car lot and use the same company. It's just going to be a used car lot and a car lot, and we'll just keep the garages as is, and we'll just have the operation be a car lot, and we'll just keep it as Smithman Automotive. So really, it's not going to change. It's just going to be, we'll still do the rentals. We'll still do all that. We're just going to have an automotive company instead. Wow, that's impressive. Now, am I still going to be a part of this? Yeah, absolutely. We have a training session going on right now. Oh, wow. Are you training everybody to be retrained in their positions? Yep. I already announced it to the company that we're going to sell cars. Wow, this is incredible. So, are there going to be any renovations? Slight renovations, nothing major. We are going to have car salesmen that are trained, and a lot of people are going to go through retraining. That's what they're doing right now. Do you want to come on over? Sure, I'd love to come over. So he goes into the office. Is the offices going to be the same? Yeah, everything's going to be the same. The same teams are going to be in the same positions. Everything's going to stay the same. Nothing like that. They're just going through retraining. So he goes in and he sees Vanessa, and he says, "Hey, Vanessa, what's going on?" Well, we're going through retraining. They're going to sell cars, and I'm still in the same position. I still have the same job. Don't worry about everything. Everything's going smoothly. Harrison's going to be in the same position as well, and so is Julie, and so is Cindy. I'm like, oh, Michael's so thankful. You're our boss, by the way. I am. I'm going to be working over top you. Yep. You're going to be in charge of us. You're our sales manager. Well, in this case, managing director. Oh, great. That's great. So nothing's changed in this department. No, nothing's changed in this department. Your department's safe. It's been spared. I think Frank Rutherford understood how close we all are and didn't want to mess with it. So Smithton Automotive is the name of the company. Yep, he ordered all the new polo shirts and everything. Everything's in boxes in the back. Can you want to take a look? Said Vanessa Roberts. Yeah, I want to see this. What is going on? Really, this already happened? Yep. Even before the ink dried, he basically showed her basically the new polo shirts, navy blue with white print, Smithton Automotive. You know, I can like this idea a lot better now that I'm looking at these polo shirts, said Vanessa. It's not that bad, Michael. I think you're going to like this idea. Well, I got to talk to Frank a little bit more, so I'll be right back. Vanessa, I'll meet you back at the office in a minute. Okay, Frank. So basically, you're going to use my name, Smith and Automotive. Yes, I agreed to do this. I'm going to use your name as the name of the company. So you're going to get a kickback for that. Okay, sounds good. So where's the document in that? It's in the lease paperwork that we signed at the courthouse. Okay, I need to see that paperwork. Here it is. Okay, so I'll get a percentage of the sales that come from that. Yes, you're my partner in this respect. Wow. Okay, so I am the managing director and I'll be on the board of directors still. Everything has stayed the same. Nothing's changed. I said I would do this. I'm doing what I said. Well, where are all the new cars coming from? Well, they're coming in here in the next day or two. So they're opening up the whole lot. They have to repave the whole lot. All the cars are coming in to both locations. What about Michael Carrington? Everything's getting handled there too. It's just going to take some time. It's just a gradual change. We're making the changes as we speak. Oh, I can't wait to talk to Michael Carrington. You're going to be okay. Just slow down. I just had a major interview with a local newspaper about my life. So if you see a newspaper article about my life story, don't be surprised. It's all in good time. It's all in good time, said Frank Rutherford. You're doing great. This transition time is usually not as intense, but it's going to work out. It's my baby. It's hard to let go, but I'm letting go easily. I know. You'll love what we're going to do. Did you see the new sales team? No, I didn't. Oh, you have to meet some of them. Well, when we get a chance, we'll do that. You can introduce me. Well, in the meantime, I got to get back to the sales team meeting. There's a whole new sales team that are going to be selling the cars on the lot. So, are you going to be selling, well, Toyotas is basically what we're going to be selling. Okay, so I know. But the other car lot's going to sell Nissans. Okay, interesting. This is getting a lot more interesting as time goes on. I'd love to sit and talk to you more, but I know you have to go, so I'll let you go. Call me when you have some free time. I'm really intrigued about what you're doing. The future of Smithton Automotive is going to be very fascinating. Wow. As Michael sat back and took a breath, he's like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. I got to talk to Vanessa. So he goes in to the office, and Vanessa Roberts is there. Vanessa, I had no idea. I know. It's huge. It is huge. Are you doing anything later on, you and your husband? Do you want to go out to dinner? Um, we could catch up and go to dinner. I would like to invite you over to my house, if it's okay. Maybe you, your husband, my wife, we could all sit down or we could go somewhere. I don't know, just like hang out and talk. I felt kind of awkward as a CEO to ask you out to dinner and your husband, but now that we're like coworkers now, it's kind of interesting. I would like to sit down and just have a relaxing dinner, just the four of us. I would like to invite Jolie and Michael Carrington too, and maybe Harrison and his wife, and maybe Cindy and Tom. Just all of us get together and go out to eat. Maybe we can do this in a couple days or so. Maybe like Friday night. What do you think? I'd love it. I think we need to get out. Okay, let's plan for Friday. I'll get the rest of them together too. I overheard that, said Harrison. I'm in for Friday. Cindy overheard it too. Yeah, you can count me in, said Jolie. We'll go too. Okay, Friday night. Where do you want to go? Waterfall Hotel sounds good. Okay, you got it. I'm buying. Okay, sounds good. We're gonna go to the Waterfall Hotel. We'll have a nice relaxing meal, and we're just gonna all relax. How about 7 o'clock? We'll meet at the Waterfall Hotel. Sounds great. Okay, I look forward to spending some time with all of you. You're some of my closest friends, and to be honest with you, we all need to relax and enjoy our time together. It'll be nice to sit back and relax and talk. Yeah, I have so much to say about what the future is here and so much more. Okay, Michael, We'll make it for 7 o'clock on Friday.